format because audio format wouldn't translate onto YouTube. So I had some content wasted the other day, but that's okay. I want to talk about reality and like losing grip on your mind today because I have been feeling fucking insane. Okay? I think the main reason for this is like all the change that's been happening, and like I keep diving deep into myself, especially for my studies and whatnot in art therapy, and I've been reading books on like fucking, clairvoyance and other realms and all that stuff, which is oddly like perfectly aligning with my studies and the way it talks about things, which is synchronicities, right? And we've all heard, well, I'm sure many of us have heard about like how synchronicities are like Guide's way and our life's way of showing us that we're on the right track. Now, before I start sounding too fucking crazy, let's talk about how I got to these crazy notions and these crazy ideas. Change is the first thing, right? That is what our brains have to deal with that make us feel crazy. And change is always happening. It's the only constant. The only constant is that nothing is constant. But sometimes we go through spouts of bigger change or spouts of more change, which for me was the shift of everything in my life, going from working with the Forest Service in Idaho, and then moving to Colorado and starting college and starting a different job on the weekends, and also like a financial shift, and pretty much like anything you could think of that could shifted in my life. And that brought about like new neural pathways. Like I had to relearn my environment, relearn my patterns of thinking from, like all the things I had to interact with every day in the Forest Service, now interacting in school and working, with my brain and being at Naropa. It's a very spiritual based school, which is part of the reason why like my studies are aligning with these spiritual books that I'm reading. But losing grip on reality, I think, is a really funny concept, because at least to me, how I've gotten there, from what a lot of people see at reality, we can agree upon on a surface level, right? But actually, I think it's funny because those people in the book that I'm reading that are considered, sidekicks, which she calls sensitives, right? And I think that that's a beautiful word for them, because she talks about like how being sensitive to our reality kind of helps somebody be more in tune to their psychic abilities, right? Which is funny because in that sense, you're actually more based in reality and more, sane than what others consider insane. But as soon as you go to that metaphysical realm, where like, oh, I'm connecting my realities with, myself on an internal level that cannot like physically be seen by our regular eyes or ears, that's insane, right? Because it can't be proven to everyone else. But we all know that those realities within ourselves exist. That's what gives us consciousness, right? So that's paying attention to our own consciousness and how it relates to our realities. And when you consider yourself and your own consciousness to be part of reality, for some reason, that's considered insane, right? And I go back to like how saying like a sensitive is a psychic is really cool, because at that point, those people are so in tune with the way that they feel and the things that they hear in their present that they are able to discern their feelings into the reality of situations. Like they turn their senses up so far that they're actually paying attention and able to pick up on things that we can all fucking pick up on, but that we have trained ourselves to like let go of. That's why like a lot of children and stuff are, you know, seen to talk to like imaginary friends, or like when you're little, a lot of people have more encounters with like spirits or something that adults can't see with their own eyes. They're more engaged with their imagination, right? Which ties into art therapy, because we bring out our imagination in our works and then express them as their own entities, not as something from the self or the ego. So like letting go of the self and paying attention so much to the reality that is puts you in a state of heightened consciousness that allows thoughts to come through from a dimension beyond just the surface level of what everyone else is perceiving. So actually really losing your mind is the most mindful thing you can do, because you are being aware of the things that are present within the moment. Bam. So lose your mind in order to find your mind. And it's also like the fact of like being present, right? You can't be like worried about yourself. Like an empty mind is open to possibilities and is ready for anything. I'm kind of paraphrasing the book I'm reading right now, which is Sean McNiff's It's a Sign Reading, Art is Medicine. And the expert mind is open to less possibilities. However, there needs to be a realization of, what's the word I'm looking for? Discipline of practice in order for things to be able to come to light. So in that way, in order to be most mindful and to lose your mind within one is the same, right? You have to practice it. You have to practice like being aware and being sensitive and being open and being present in the moment. Hence meditation, right? Which has been something that has been talked about and realized as profound since thinking was established as an idea. I don't know when it got its name. I'd have to research that, but like to delve into reality in the moment so far that like other people consider you crazy because you're actually noticing the things around you instead of just seeing them on a surface level that we all agree with is really cool. And I just want to know from you guys, like, what do you think about losing your mind? And do you let yourself lose your mind? That's another big thing, is like the person who is afraid of losing their mind or losing touch of reality will never really be present with themselves, because they are viewing everything from an outside perspective and how others will think. In order to be with yourself and accept yourself fully, you have to delve into those avenues deep. You can't just look at it from someone else's point of view. You have to connect with yourself. And by connecting with yourself is how you make realizations and how you can improve your life, because we are the masters of our lives, right? But it does take discipline. It takes discipline to even listen to yourself, let alone other people. Like, that's kind of what we're going through in school right now, is we are becoming clients of art therapy. We're becoming our own art therapists right now, so that we can show other people how to do it. And pretty much it's just like a line of teaching, because you have to be able to be with yourself and learn how to control yourself and your own emotions and be stable within your own mindset in order to even try to like show others how they might be able to get into contact with themselves. So mindfulness is then actually self-love, and compassion. And something else cool that I found out from my book, Art is Medicine, is that the Latin words for compassion actually breaks down to suffering together. And by breathing in the anguish of others, we realize that it is ours too. And we start with that on a self level, by breathing in our own anguish and realizing that it is part of our reality. We can see our connection to everything, and then we can breathe in and have compassion for others as well, and see the connection to ourselves. And that is how we have compassion. And compassion creates peace, right? And so these are all the keys. We've all got these keys that we've been holding in our hands, and like how to create a more peaceful society, which is what everyone wants, right? So that's what I've got to say today about compassion and losing our minds. Let me know what y'all think. I want to talk to all of you. I'm not trying to preach, I'm trying to have a conversation, because again, I'm open to being wrong. I'm wrong a lot. So let me know how I'm wrong. And let me know how you might think I'm right. Let's talk about it.